आपको मेरी आवाज पहुंचती है और मेरा स्लाइड नजर आता है, आप कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखो कि यस मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही है, so that I could start my class as early as possible. Okay, so first of all, welcome you all from the entire team of Gradeup. This is me, Salik. So please write in the comment section that yes, I'm audible. आप कमेंट सेक्शन में लिखो कि यस मेरी आवाज आ रही है. Please write. Okay, yes, my voice is clear. Yes. Good evening. I would say good evening to all of you. Abhay, Ayushi, Sai, Gautam, Ekta, Divyani, Abhay, everybody. Yes. So people are writing that yes, I'm audible and visible. So without wasting my time, yes, Anjali, Vani, Divyani, everybody. Good evening. Yes, I'm audible. So first of all, welcome you all from the entire team of Gradeup. This is me, Salik, and in this video, we are going to learn about the economic impact of COVID-19. आज के इस वीडियो में हम लोग जानेंगे कि जो इकोनॉमिक इम्पैक्ट हुआ है कोविड-19 की वजह से इन द लास्ट 1 year, स्पेशली द लास्ट 1 year, द इम्पैक्ट ऑफ कोविड-19 ऑन इकोनॉमी, दैट विल बी लर्निंग टुडे. ओके, यस. But before we begin, we are having something for you. First of all, happy Mother's Day to all of you, and we are providing 55% off on Gradeup super courses. What you have to do is you have to use this code MOM55 and get 55% off. Okay. And yes, we are having a live session at 5 p.m. on Sunday, that is today, and that is about a success story from an advocate to an IRS officer, and his name is Chandan Prakash Pandey. So you can have a live session with him. Okay. Yes. Also today at 7 p.m. We'll be having a session called as Most Engaging Students on Gradeup. So some of your friends will be joining it. So please do join it and get to know the secrets of our toppers. And yes, we are having a booster crash course for 2021, that is batch 3. We are having a current affairs and legal event revision courses, that is batch 2 for this year. And in fact, not only for this year, for the next year, let's say you are in class 11th, you are attempting for 2022, we are having a batch, and that is batch 4. Okay? In the similar fashion, we are having a batch for CLAT 2023 if you are in class 10th. Okay? That we call it as foundation course. Okay? Yes. One more thing that I want to convey is that for this year we provide 4 months Gradeup Super subscription, and for the next year we provide 14 months Gradeup Super subscription. Yes. The first question in front of you is on your screens, which says, is economics important for CLAT 2021? क्या इकोनॉमिक्स पढ़ना क्लैट के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है? पहला सवाल. Yes, important है भाई. Because this was a passage that was asked last year, CLAT 2020. ये पिछले साल जब नया पैटर्न आया, when the new pattern came, this passage was asked in the exam, and this is purely based on economics. And this is talking about FDI, foreign direct investment, Atmanirbhar Bharat, National Infrastructure Pipeline, right? And I'll show you one more. Actually, there were 2 passages which were based on economics. So you cannot skip economics. Even you are preparing for law entrance examination, you cannot skip economics. आप law की तैयारी कर रहे हो, लेकिन आपको थोड़ा सा economics पढ़ना पड़ेगा. See this. Reserve Bank of India, open market operation, long-term repo operations, foreign exchange reserve, US Federal Reserve. आप देख रहे हो foreign exchange, ये क्या economics का term है. Reserve Bank of India, open market operation, repo operations, repo rate. So I'll be discussing today also some of the economic aspects of you can say COVID-19. Okay. Today we'll be discussing mostly about what happened in the last 1 year and the economic impact of COVID-19. Okay. This will help you to understand reading the newspaper easily. आपको अखबार पढ़ने में आसानी होगी. And let's say in the next 1, 2 or 3 months, whichever you are left with, if any economics article come, it will be easy for you to understand. ठीक है, तो economics की कोई भी article आपको पढ़ने में आसानी होगी. So the topics that we are going to learn today are introduction, impact on government expenditure, tax collection, interest rate, impact on tourism, global supply chain, oil demand, GDP and unemployment, and poverty. So these things we'll be learning about it and about the impact of COVID-19. So let's start with the first thing and what we call it as introduction. Yes, the introduction is the COVID-19 pandemic has a huge impact not only on Indian but the world economy. This is very simple. एंड इट सेज कि हम लोग को सिर्फ इंडिया में पूरे वर्ल्ड इकोनॉमी में इसका बहुत इंपैक्ट पड़ा है, दैट वुड टेक इयर्स टू ऑफसेट, यानी सालों लग जाएगा उसको रिवर्स करने में, इट विल टेक इयर्स टू reverse it. That is the introduction of our topic. Now, let's start one by one. What are the effects? The first effect is the government expenditure has increased. यानी सरकार का जो खर्चा है वो increase कर गया है. You know why? The first thing is because of the health expenditure and in other sectors also because of lockdown. The government expenditure in the last 1 year either in India or in the entire world has increased. means सरकार का जो खर्चा है वो increase हो जाएगा. Because first on government, health sector, and the second thing is, private sector investment has declined. Private sector investment नहीं करेगा क्यों? You know why? Because whenever there is any, you can say, crisis or at the time of pandemic, no one invests. वो इन्वेस्ट नहीं करता है. देखो आप लोग भी घर में होगे तो आप लोग इन्वेस्टमेंट ज्यादा नहीं कर रहे होगे, because you will be feeling, your parents will be feeling कि अगर पता नहीं क्या हो जाएगा फ्यूचर में. So people are saving more rather than investing. So that is why government has to invest in order to run the economy. First thing, is it clear? Yes. Yes, there were some articles regarding it. You can see this article last year December. Government plans spending boost to counter COVID impact. Why? Because spending is very important to run the economy. If the private investment is not happening, the government has to invest. अगर प्राइवेट लोग इन्वेस्ट नहीं कर रहे हैं तो सरकार को इन्वेस्ट करना पड़ेगा ताकि इकोनॉमी चलती रहे. In the similar fashion, this is also the 1st December last year article, which says centers expenditure 240% of income this fiscal, deficit at 7.7%. मतलब ये हुआ कि 240% ज्यादा खर्चा किया एक्सपेंडिचर से. It means if income of the government is X, it is expending 240X. Why? Because it was the need of the hour. उस वक्त जरूरत थी कि हम लोग को ज्यादा खर्चा करना पड़े because of the lockdown one last year, right? And there was no private investment. Now let's talk about the tax collection. Initially, after the lockdown last year, the tax collection was affected a lot, but later the things became better. Why? What tax collection depends upon the business, right? If the business is flourishing, the tax collection will be high. अगर बिजनेस चल रहा होगा, व्यापार चल रहा होगा, तो फिर टैक्स कलेक्शन बढ़ेगा, ज्यादा सामान बिकेगा, ज्यादा कपड़ा बिकेगा तो ज्यादा उस पे जीएसटी लगेगा, तो ज्यादा सरकार को टैक्स आएगा. सो लास्ट ईयर व्हेन लॉकडाउन हैपेंड, you can say from March to April, May, June, there was, you can say, lockdown, and because of which there was, you can say, business was down. So because of which in the initial 3-4 months the tax collection was less. You can see here, this is an article from June last year which says decline in tax revenue collection narrows to 37% in May as economy picks up. यानी मार्च अप्रैल मई में decline हो गया revenue collection में, right? In a similar fashion, this is an article, tax collection, this year article. In March it says tax collection may decrease by 33.5%, mainly due to COVID-19. So there were some apprehensions that maybe in the entire 1 year the tax collection would decrease. But fortunately, this did not happen, and the tax collection later on increased. ठीक है? Center's tax revenue grows in pandemic year. You can see this is an article from 14th April, hardly 1 month back. मतलब ये हुआ, it means initially the tax collection decreased, but once the lockdown opened, the tax revenue started increasing. You know why? I'll show you here. This was the last year, the first, you can say, lockdown or first wave of COVID, and this is the second wave, right? When the lockdown stopped, means as people started opening, the business started flourishing, right? Last year, August, September के बाद फिर से business खुलना शुरू हो गया. Shops started opening, and hence the tax collection started. And when we saw the article in April, the tax collection was increased, I would say. ठीक है? So tax collection पहले गिरा, फिर बाद में जाके बढ़ गया. Okay, clear है? Now, yes, now we are in second wave, so we'll get to know about 2-3 months later whether the tax collection has not decreased or increased. तो इस साल मार्च के बाद जो अगला साल जो financial year start होगा from 1st April, from that we'll get to know whether it will increase. I mean, you can say the wave, or I would say the tax collection would increase or not. This we'll get to know from after 2-3 months. ठीक है? Now let's talk about the decrease in interest rates. You know why this is important? Because these types of concepts were asked in exam. In fact, in the CLAT 2020 paper also, something related to interest rate was also asked. सर मेडिकल के चलते भी टैक्स बढ़ा होगा, yes of course, हाँ. So decrease in interest rates. So the interest rate is general, is declining to increase spending. Okay, if interest rates are less, then only there are chances that people would take more loans and spend. You know, when economy is in a deadlock, जब economy jam हो जाती है, when it is jammed, what is the need of the hour? To spend more. So either people should spend, that is private spending, or the government should spend. What you call it as government spending. When the economy is jammed, either the private sector should invest, and that is called as private investment, or the government should spend, that is called as government spending. So the government has increased its expenditure last year, and in order to increase the private investment, what the government did was the interest rate has been declined or decreased. मतलब ये हुआ कि you can get loans at cheaper interest rate. अच्छा, you will invest, you will buy something, and okay, so you will buy something when the interest rate is less or when the interest rate is high. When the interest rate is low, let's say you want to buy a car with a loan, so you'll prefer the less interest rate loan or a higher interest rate loan? Of course you will prefer the less interest rate, इसलिए कम पे करना पड़ेगा कर्ज ब्याज, right? So that is why in order to incentivize people to invest or buy things, the government has decreased the interest rate. ठीक है, clear हुआ? Yes, Rishabh Jain. Yes, sir. Very good. You can see here, there were various articles actually. This was from Live Mint 11th July last year, which says what history tells us about the pandemics and interest rates. यानी हम लोग हिस्ट्री क्या कहती है कि जब पैंडेमिक आता है तो इंटरेस्ट रेट घटता है कि नहीं? Yes, this article says that tilted down by nearly 1.5 percent point about 20 years later. So ये क्या कह रहा है कि जब भी पैंडेमिक आता है so इंटरेस्ट रेट घटता है. You can say this is a paper and that has been published on IMF. You can see this, you can say graph. This is pandemic and this is interest rate. So the gray one is the pandemic. So whenever the pandemic comes, the interest rate decreases. You know why? So that people can invest more and more. ठीक है, ताकि लोग ज्यादा खर्चा करें तो इकोनॉमी रिवाइव हो सके. Is it clear? ठीक है? Yes. Now let's move on further. Yes, now we are talking about the repo rates. This was mentioned in the last year. RBI also decreased repo rates. RBI also started decreasing repo rate as COVID-19 started spreading. You know, this word was in there in the last year exam, that CLAT 2020. You can see here. This is an article from Times of India. I would say the image, and this is how it declined. So it has been declining, but see the February March. It has declined steeply. Last year, याद है, फरवरी में we started having COVID-19 cases started increasing, and in March there was lockdown, and because of which the repo rate has declined. Now, the first question is, sir, what is repo rate? Yes, but before that, let me tell you one thing. You might be thinking, sir, is it important to know these things like repo rate, reverse repo rate? Is it important? Yes, of course. This is a previous year question, and see this. Long-term repo operations. Are you seeing it? So it is also a sort of a repo rate, but it is a long-term repo rate. Okay. So this was mentioned in last year passage. One thing. Second thing is repo rate is also related to OMO, open market operation. This was also mentioned in last year passage. So please remember these things: FDI, FII, foreign exchange, Federal Reserve, repo rate, reverse repo rate. These are very, very important topics. They may ask this year also. हो सकता है पिछले साल पूछे तो इस साल ही पूछ ले. कुछ हट के पूछ ले. They may ask about FDI. They may ask about FII. They might ask about this, that why did the repo rate decreased and all that. Okay. Now the question is, yes, somebody is asking, sir, what is repo rate? Let me explain, Aparna. Yes, this was the passage, and this was the question also, long-term repo operation, and this was the question on long-term repo operations. You know what happened was people were not expecting that economics will be asked. Generally, people think it is a law exam, so economics क्यों पूछेगा? Why would I bother about economics? It is a law entrance exam. But they asked two passage. Two passage means 10 questions. अगर आप 10 क्वेश्चन नहीं किए, you are out from the race. अगर आप 10 क्वेश्चन नहीं कर पाए तो आप आउट हो जाओगे रेस से. You know, there are so much competition, so you cannot skip the economics, right? And that is why I'm showing you the importance of it. Now, somebody is asking, sir, what is repo rate? Yes, I have decided to explain it. It says it is the interest rate on the loans given by the Reserve Bank to the commercial bank. This is also called as री-परचेज एग्रीमेंट, ठीक है। रेपो को हम लोग कहते हैं री-परचेज एग्रीमेंट ऑल्सो। नो, आई एम डिस्कसिंग दीज थिंग्स बिकॉज इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट। ओके, now let me explain. Yes, Sejal is right. We are having a 4% of repo rate. Very good. This is RBI and this is ICICI Bank. Okay. Now RBI is giving a loan of, let's say, 100 crore rupees for, let's say, 2 years. So now RBI now fixes its repo rate. So this means that the interest rate charged on this will be called as repo rate. Interest rate will be repo rate. ठीक है? Is it clear? सर फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ मई तो आज पूरी हो गई, कुछ भी नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया। सो वेट फॉर अ सेकंड, आई मीन वेट फॉर फ्यू डेज। आई होप, यस देयर वर आर्टिकल्स, आई वाज आल्सो रीडिंग इट दैट मोस्ट लाइकली इट विल बी पोस्टपोन्ड, तो आप उसकी टेंशन मत लो, ठीक है। सेकंड थिंग इज व्हाट वी कॉल इट एज रिवर्स रेपो रेट। If the commercial bank gives loan to the RBI, let's say ICICI is giving 50 crore loan, and the interest rate on this, इसका जो ब्याज होगा, that is what we call it as RRR. It means reverse repo rate. ठीक है, समझ में? Is it clear? Yes, yes. Now you can see here, this is from the RBI website, the official website of RBI. The current repo rate is 4% and the current reverse repo rate is 3.35%. It means if RBI is giving loan to someone, some bank, it will charge 4% interest rate. And if RBI is borrowing from some commercial bank, it will give 3.35% interest rate. Is it clear? Say yes if it is clear. अगर समझ में आए तो आप जरूर कहो कि yes sir समझ में आ रहा है. Is it clear? Because these are things very important. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me explain here again. So this, if the RBI is giving, it will be giving at the 4% interest rate, and if the ICICI is giving, it will be giving at 3.35% interest rate. ठीक है, these are the interest rates. ठीक है, repo rate, reverse repo rate clear हो गया? Now, yes. Now there was an impact on tourism, and this is also very important because when lockdown happened, the transportation stopped, and that is why this is an article from UN World Trade Organization policy brief on tourism and COVID-19. It says loss of $190 billion to $1.2 trillion. सो इतना तक का नुकसान एज्यूम किया गया है कि इतना ह्यूज इंपैक्ट होगा इकोनॉमी को. आई वुड से द टूरिज्म सेक्टर, एंड टूरिज्म सेक्टर गिव अ बूस्ट टू द इकोनॉमी. आई होप यू आर अवेयर ऑफ इट. जब टूरिज्म होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से यू गो टू द मसूरी फॉर टूरिज्म, द होटल्स नियर मसूरी विल फ्लरिश, द शॉप्स विल फ्लरिश. ठीक है, तो होटल शॉप्स सब दुकान कब चलेगी वहां की मसूरी की? जब वहां टूरिस्ट जाएंगे. अगर when let's say for example the tourist has been stopped, the hotels will get stopped, the shops will get stopped, they will not be able to earn anything, and hence the economy of Mussoorie will suffer. Is it clear? Yes. So you can see here, this was the downturn of the tourism sector. You can see here also, people are saying that it will take until 2023 to get back to the original. And yes, there are some also articles from McKinsey and Company. This is very important in order to understand things. The chances of domestic tourism will bounce back faster as compared to the international tourism. Domestic tourism or international tourism क्या होता है sir? Domestic tourism means if you are living in India and you are traveling in India, that is called as domestic tourism. And this can rebound easily, but international tourism will take more time. You can see here, this is the lesser deep and this is more steep. ठीक है, clear है? Now let's talk about the effect on global supply chain. Why I'm telling you these topics, these words, because you can see, if you see the last year passage, they gave difficult economics word: FDI, foreign direct investment, foreign exchange reserve, repo rate, reverse repo rate, open market operations. They gave the difficult economic terms in the passage. That is why I'm explaining you these passages which were coming in news. Effect on global supply chain. It is said that the global supply chain affected heavily as the planes and other transportation got affected due to रिस्ट्रिक्शंस। ये कहा ये जा रहा है कि ग्लोबल सप्लाई चेन पर काफी असर हुआ, इसलिए कि एरोप्लेन्स की बाधित हो गई, एरोप्लेन द मूवमेंट ऑफ एरोप्लेन्स गॉट स्टॉप्ड लास्ट ईयर स्पेशली, और यू कैन से रिस्ट्रिक्टेड, देयर आर वेरियस रिस्ट्रिक्शंस। In fact, even today also we are in the second wave, and the second wave there are various restrictions, and because of which the global supply chain has got stopped. Now the people might be thinking, sir, what is global supply chain? I'll explain you this with an example. This is USA, and let's say USA has manufactured this microprocessor, okay, and now it has sold this microprocessor, which microprocessor क्या होता है, चिप होता है जो फोन में लगा रहता है, right, to China. And what China does is China manufactures a phone with the help of that microprocessor bought from USA. Then it's gives back to India, and what India does is it puts the screen above it. So screen लगाने का काम इंडिया का है. Okay, so this is just an example that microprocessor is made in USA, the rest of the phone is made in China, and the screen is put in India, and then after that the mobile is completed. Mobile is completely manufactured. Okay. This entire thing is called as global supply chain, GSC, इसी को कहते हैं. Okay, this is what we call it as. Let me show you here. This is called as global supply chain, इसी को कहते हैं. Okay, मतलब ये हुआ, for example, let's say the flights to China is prohibited. The USA has said that the flights to China will be prohibited. You know what will happen is, this microprocessor won't go to the China. When it won't go to the China, the phone will not be made, and once the phone will not be made, it can, the glass will not be put by India. This is called as global supply chain disruption. ठीक है, मतलब ये होता है कि कोई भी एक चीज ना पूरी तरह एक कंट्री में नहीं बनती है. It requires 2-3 countries. It means one, you can say, goods is not made entirely in one country. It travels from one place to another. Half of the thing is made in one country, half of the thing is made in another country, then in another country. This entire thing is called as global supply chain. Okay? Why global supply chain got disrupted? Because of the movement of aeroplanes, and it is primarily because of lockdown, COVID-19 and all that. Is it clear? Say yes if it is clear. Now, this is an article from the Hindu. Supply chain shift from China may benefit India. So people were saying that last year there was a huge, you can say, setback to the global supply chain based in China, because China is a big manufacturer, and it is said that it may be shift to India. There were some articles regarding it. Okay, so ab jao usko padho. Now why I am discussing these things? Because you will come across these newspaper articles even in the future. Okay, there is a kind request. Please press the like button, because we feel motivated. I work very hard to come up with these slides. So yes, please press the like button, comment, share with the people, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yes. Now, one more thing I want to say is, what we saw was the decline in oil demand. Why there was a decline in oil demand? You know why? Because last year, transportation got stuck. Transportation got stuck, right? When transportation got stuck, people were traveling lesser. When people were traveling lesser, of course, the oil demand will be less. And when the oil demand will be less, the international oil price was low. International oil price was low, right? Clear hua? Is it clear? Yes. You can see this article from April last year, how the pandemic wiped out oil demand around the world. Of course, कोई बंदा गाड़ी लेकर रोड पे निकलेगा नहीं, ज्यादा ट्रैवल नहीं करेगा, तो फिर उसको तेल की जरूरत नहीं होगी, और जब तेल की जरूरत नहीं होगी तो डिमांड कम होगा, जब डिमांड कम होगा तो तेल का दाम कम हो जाएगा. Clear? So these are some of the statistics put by Statista website, which says that देखो 9.3 million barrel per day जो है वो decline in demand था according to IEA, and according to OPEC it was 6.9. So this is just I'm giving some idea that annual global oil demand जो है that got declined last year due to COVID-19. ठीक है? Clear है? Yes. Now this is very important. India's GDP contraction. Contraction पता होता है सिकुड़ जाना, right? This is the figure. If you are seeing from the last 3-4 years, we were in the positive, right? This is 0. So we were in the positive. Our GDP was growing, expanding. But what happened was last year, Do you see this is the first quarter minus 24.4%? Then the second quarter, this is Q1, this is Q2 was minus 7.3%, and the third quarter it became better and it was 0.4%. अब पूछोगे सर ये क्वार्टर क्या हो रहा है? सर आप पूछोगे सर इसमें क्वार्टर क्या होता है? Let me explain. So this is the financial year. This is 2020. This is 2021. So no, financial year starts from March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Right? This is how the financial year works. Okay, it goes like this. This is what we call it as FY 2021. So the first 3 months, March, April, May, is called as Q1, the quarter one. Because why divide 1 year into 4 quarters, that is each quarter is having 3 months. So March, April, May, first quarter, June, July, August, second quarter, September, October, July, August, September, second quarter, October, November, December, third quarter, and January, February, March, quarter 4. Okay? I'm very sorry, this is not from March, this is from April. I got confused. Okay, not confused, it's a mistake. It starts from April, not March. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. Okay. So April से start होता है. It starts from 1st April. So from April, May, June, this is quarter 1. June, July, August. July, August, September. This is quarter 2. October, November, December. This is quarter 3. And January, February, March, this is quarter 4. So OC is October actually, this is 1 month. Okay, is it clear? So this is what we are showing. You can see here, this is the quarter 1 which was to minus 24.4%. तो जो पहला quarter था वो minus में चला गया. GDP contracted in the first quarter. Similarly, in the second quarter also it contracted, but in the third quarter, that is this one, October, November, December, there was 0.4% growth. यानी थोड़ा सा growth हुआ, but it was very less. Because last year, last to last year, we were having a good progress, right? Quarter 4 ka aana baki hai, so please watch, read these articles, because I am damn sure you will come across these articles that in the Q4, quarter 4, in the fiscal year 2021, we had this much GDP growth. If you are reading newspaper daily, you will find these articles. Please do not skip those articles. Okay, it will be heavy. It will be a heavy penalty for you. अगर आप छोड़ दोगे वो सब article, तो वो loss हो जाएगा. Now let's talk about decline in household saving. Household मतलब हम लोग अपना घर का savings. So this also behaved in the similar fashion. Initially it got declined. You know why? Because the job losses, the salary cuts happened. Any salary कम हो गई, किसी के नौकरी चले गए, तो savings जो है घट गया. But the moment you can say the coronavirus cases started decreasing in this period. In August, September to you can say March this year. People started getting back their jobs, and hence you can say the household saving started jumping. You can see this is an article from April this year, that when you can say things went back to normal, you can say the household savings increased, people started getting jobs, or you can say they started having savings. One more thing people are saving is they don't want to invest. Even if they are having a job, let's say they have got the job back, they don't want to invest, they are saving more and more. वो invest नहीं कर रहे हैं, चाहे तो bond में, share में. Why? Because they feel that there may be another wave, and yes, we are right now in the second wave. So yes, that is why people are not investing and hence saving more. So this is all about this. You can go and read more about it, right? Now, the most important thing is about the unemployment and poverty. The first thing is unemployment. Okay, this is an article from Times of India, which says, according to CMIE report, joblessness rate at record 28% in April this year. You can say this is an article from May 2021. Okay, yes, Paritesh Kumar, hello. Hello, everyone. Yes, so this is an article according to CMIE. So what is CMIE? And I was saying previous year question of some exam, and I saw the exam asked what is the full form of CMIE. तो याद रखिएगा, in one liner exam they may ask Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. Here it is written, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy. It is a private think tank, a private organization which tells you about the unemployment rates in India. ठीक है, एक प्राइवेट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट इंडिया को मेजर करती है. यू आर सीइंग इट लास्ट ईयर जनवरी 2020, to March, April 2020. And here is March somewhere where lockdown happened last year. We're seeing the unemployment rate. I would say that you can see this. I would say that employment rate is decreasing. So unemployment, you can say, was high. This is basically showing you household income expecting income increase decline. Household को जो income है, यानी जो common man के जो income है, it got declined. Do you see this? Is it clear? Yes. Now let's move on further. This was an article of 3rd May, 4 दिन पुरानी article, hardly 4 or 5 days back. This was an article from Business Standard. It was in the Hindu, Indian Express. These things are coming. Over 7.5 million people lose jobs in April as lockdown bites CMI. So this is, we are talking about the second wave of coronavirus and the second lockdown. And because of which, according to the CMIE report, 7.5 million people have lost the job. Yes, this is the unemployment rate of last year. You can see here is January, and this was somewhere March, April. Okay. So no, this peak in unemployment, देखो कितना तेज से बढ़ा. Here you can see, here is March, April, right? So when the strict lockdown happened, the unemployment rate shooted up. Okay. These things you should be aware, because whenever you will be reading the newspaper, especially the economics portion, it will be very easy for you now to understand the things. अगर आप अब अखबार पढ़ोगे तो आपको आसानी से चीजें समझ में आएगी. That is why I am explaining you these things. You can see here, no, one more thing that happened was a rise in petrol, diesel and LPG cylinder prices. You know why? I told you the government has to spend more. So for that, government has to collect more taxes. So from where did they collect taxes? They'll collect taxes from the people, from petrol, diesel and LPG cylinder. And this is why, the domestic LPG price hiked too much. You can see here, these are the articles, and to cost 819 in New Delhi. You can see it has been hiked by 125 in less than 30 days. ये पहली मार्च की आर्टिकल है, वो ये कह रही है कि 30 दिन में 125 रुपए एलपीजी सिलेंडर का दाम बढ़ गया. Similarly, this is 6th May article, 2-3 days back. Petrol, diesel see third price hike in a row. Check out latest rates. So somewhere it has crossed the 100 rupees. कहीं कहीं पे ठीक है. So 90 है, 97 है, 88 है at different places. Yes sir, Samarth Varshney. Yes, crude oil का price कम है. Right, very good. I have told you the reason. You know why? Because nobody is doing transportation, so the demand of oil is less, and hence the oil prices at international level is less. But in India, the prices are higher because government want to spend more, and hence it is taking taxes. Government share of taxes in the oil price is high. यानी सरकार जो है वो oil price इसलिए बढ़ा रही है ताकि हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा tax collect कर सके, ताकि हम spending बढ़ाएं. Okay, this is the idea. You can see here, this is an India Today article. हाँ, इसमें criticism भी हुआ है, yes, कि बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ा दिया है. Why this so much? Why didn't the government see? I mean, government को plan करना चाहिए था. These things, these are different things. I'm not going in that detail. देखो, yes, this is an article from 7th May, 2 days back, which says the petrol prices has crossed the 100 rupees per liter at some city. ठीक है, कुछ शहरों में 100 रुपए भी cross कर गया है. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Now let's talk about the poverty. This is from Pew Research Center. This is a US think tank. This think tank, you can see, came up with a report. Yes, there is Sri Kushwaha, yes, right, for you can say promoting green energy. Yes, Anuradha, good evening. Okay, is it clear? Yes. In the pandemic, India's middle class shrinks and poverty spreads while China sees smaller changes. It is saying, this article, that India's middle class has shrunk. It means the middle class has gone down to become more poorer. यानी जो middle class है वो और नीचे चला गया और गरीब हो गया है, lower middle class. This is what this article says. It became very important in March 19th March this year when this came. I mean, I would say last months, 2 months back. This article was very much in news, and that is why I have decided this as a comprehension based question on the latest CLAT pattern. इसीलिए मैंने ये article रही है. This article will be important, which says pandemic may have doubled poverty in India, says Pew study. यानी पैंडेमिक की वजह से इंडिया की जो पॉवर्टी है वो दोगुनी हो गई होगी, ऐसा Pew study रिसर्च कह रही है, which is a US based think tank, and it was in news. Sir, Pew Research is a US based think tank. It is an independent private organization which does रिसर्च ऑन पॉवर्टी एंड ऑल दैट समथिंग, ठीक है, जिस तरह CMI है इंडिया में उसी तरह वो। Okay, you can see this is the passage which says India's middle class may have shrunk मतलब होता है सिकुड़ जाना, by a third due to 2020's pandemic-driven recession, while the number of poor people earning less than rupees 150 per day more than doubled according to analysis of Pew Research Center. So research recession का मतलब क्या होता है? Negative GDP growth in 2 successive quarters. अगर 2 लगातार क्वार्टर में निगेटिव ग्रोथ हो जाए, क्वार्टर आई टोल्ड यू 3 मंथ्स, तो अगर 2 लगातार क्वार्टर में जीडीपी श्रिंक कर जाए उसको हम रिसेशन कहते हैं, ठीक है। सर कैन वी सी योर वीडियोस ऑफ बीबीए इंटरेस्ट टू? यस इट इज अवेलेबल, go to the YouTube, search my name, BBA Gradeup Salik, you will get the videos, it is available. Okay, is it clear? So ये प्योर रिसर्च ये कह रहा है कि the number of people earning, the number of poor people earning less than rupees 100 150 more than doubled, यानी जो लोग 100-150 रुपए से कम कमा रहे थे वो और ज्यादा हो गए, वहां से लोग की तादाद बढ़ गई है, यानी गरीबी बढ़ गई है। इन कंपैरिजन चाइनीज इनकम्स रिमेन्स रिलेटिवली अनशेकन विद जस्ट अ 2% ड्रॉप इन द मिडिल क्लास पॉपुलेशन। सो इनकी ये राय है कि कंपैरेटिवली चाइना हैज डन बेटर, यानी चाइना में इतना ज्यादा गरीबी रेखा के नीचे लोग नहीं गए हैं। ओके, The report released on Thursday used World Bank projections of economic growth to estimate the impact of COVID-19 on India. The lockdown triggered by the pandemic result in shut business, lost jobs and falling incomes, plunging the Indian economy into deep recession. China managed to avoid a contraction, although growth slowed, the report said. ये कहना चाह रहा है कि जब लॉकडाउन हुआ तो कई सारे बिजनेस बंद हुए, कई सारी नौकरियां गई और उसकी वजह से इंडिया डीप रिसेशन में चला गया। इसलिए कि इंडिया का क्या हुआ, शुरू के 2 क्वार्टर में माइनस में गया था ना जीडीपी, सो दैट इज व्हाई वी कॉल इट एज, सर माइनस में जीडीपी ग्रोथ वी आर सेइंग। ऋषभ, ओके लेट मी एक्सप्लेन, यू हैव 100 rupees, the next time your growth it becomes 10% growth, it becomes 110. If you have contraction, this will become 90, this is minus. We are not saying कि जीडीपी माइनस में चला गया, जीडीपी नेवर गोज इन माइनस। अरे जीडीपी माइनस में कैसे चला जाएगा, जीडीपी ग्रोथ गोज इन माइनस, इट मींस जीडीपी ग्रोथ नहीं हुआ, श्रिंक कर गया है। ओके क्लियर है? तो इसमें ये कह रहा है कि चाइना में कंट्रैक्शन हुआ है लेकिन कंपैरेटिवली कम हुआ है अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस रिपोर्ट। ओके, The middle class in India is estimated to have shrunk by 3.2 crore in 2020 as a consequence of downturn compared with the number it may have reached absent the pandemic, said the report, defining the middle class as people with having income this much. ये कह रहा है कि जो मिडिल क्लास लोग हैं, ट्रिगर्ड मतलब सर जो बंदूक की जो ये होता है बटन दबाने वाला उसको कहते हैं ट्रिगर। तो ट्रिगर का मतलब क्या होता है, जब गोली दबाएंगे तो गोली चलती है, जब ट्रिगर दबाते हैं दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ट्रिगर। यानी थिंग लॉकडाउन ने ट्रिगर कर दिया, लॉकडाउन लेड टू द शटडाउन इन बिजनेस। ओके यस, ट्रिगर जो गोली का बंदूक का जो ये होता है ना बटन दबाने वाला, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज ट्रिगर, ठीक है। You know one thing, second thing is this is saying they have defined this as middle class, those who are earning between 700 to 1500 per day या $10 to $20, यानी जो लोग 700 से 1500 रुपए एक महीना में कमाते हैं या 10 से $20 एक दिन में कमाते हैं, वो लोग मिडिल क्लास हैं। और उनके हिसाब से 3.2 करोड़ लोग मिडिल क्लास से नीचे चले आए हैं, they are no more in this section. Okay, is it clear? Yes. Meanwhile, the number of people who are poor in India with incomes of $2 or less than a day is estimated to have increased by 7.5 crore. So ये below poverty line इनका definition ये होता है कि अगर कोई $2 से कम कमा रहा है एक दिन में, सो वो पुअर के कैटेगरी में आए, ठीक है, मिडिल क्लास की नहीं बात कर रहे, पुअर की बात कर रहे हैं। सो वो ये कर रहे हैं कि 7.5 करोड़ लोग बढ़ गए हैं बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन में अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस रिपोर्ट। This account for nearly 60% of the global increase in poverty. इसका मतलब समझ रहे हो, यानी अगर 100 लोग पूरे वर्ल्ड में पॉवर्टी के नीचे गए हैं तो 60 लोग इंडिया में बिलोंग करते हैं। It means if 100 people have gone down below the poverty last year in 2020 due to COVID, then 60 people are from India only. This is what they said, estimating an increase from 6 crore to 13.4 crore people, poor people. So ये कह रहे हैं कि पहले पुअर पीपल 6 करोड़ थे इंडिया में, अब 13.4 करोड़ पीपल हो गए हैं बिकॉज ऑफ COVID-19 एंड ऑल दैट, ठीक है। इट ऑल्सो नोटेड द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ इंक्रीज इन मनरेगा पार्टिसिपेंट। व्हाट इज मनरेगा? कैन एनीबॉडी एक्सप्लेन? सर आई हैव टोल्ड यू अ क्वार्टर, 1 year is distributed in quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. 1 financial year. So पहला financial year अप्रैल से start होता है. अप्रैल, मई, जून. अप्रैल to June. This is first quarter. जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर. जुलाई, अगस्त, सितंबर. Second quarter. अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर. अक्टूबर, नवंबर, दिसंबर. Third quarter. जनवरी, फरवरी, मार्च. जनवरी to March. Fourth quarter. ठीक है, clear हो गया? Quarter means 3 months because if we divide 12 by quarter, that is 4, we'll get 3 months. तो हर क्वार्टर में 3 महीना होता है. क्लियर हुआ? और फाइनेंशियल ईयर अप्रैल से स्टार्ट होता है, जनवरी से नहीं. क्लियर है? यस. एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट, वेरी गुड. मनरेगा इज एन एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट. ये एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट क्या होता है? यू नो, द गवर्नमेंट विल गारंटी 100 days ऑफ रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट, रूरल अनस्किल्ड एम्प्लॉयमेंट. मतलब ये हुआ कि अगर आपको नौकरी नहीं मिल रही है गांव के एरिया में, तो आपको सरकार गारंटी करती है कि 100 दिन का काम करने, साल में 100 दिन आपको काम करने को मिलेगा गांव के एरिया में, अनस्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स. It means in English that if you are not getting a job, then the government will guarantee you 100 days of work in 1 year in a rural areas in unskilled employment. We are not talking about skilled one. ठीक है? It means, you know, why we are talking about it. If you don't have any job, then you will try for मनरेगा, right? अगर आपके पास कोई और नौकरी तो आप मनरेगा क्यों आओगे? So no, it is saying that record a spike. Spike मतलब increase. So we have seen that the demand of मनरेगा participation has increased. You know why? Because the people have lost their jobs, so they are coming back to the rural areas to get मनरेगा job. ठीक है? Now it has been increased to 150. Yes, there was proposal to increase it to 150. Yes, right, Uttam. Okay. So in certain areas there are 150 also even before. ठीक है? So हम तो सिर्फ एग्जांपल के लिए आपको समझा रहा हूँ. So इसीलिए स्पाइक यानी मनरेगा की डिमांड बढ़ी है, इसका मतलब नौकरी गई होगी, तभी लोग जा रहे होंगे, right? They are struggling to find the work. Now the vast majority of India's population fell into the low income tier, earning 150 to 700 per day. So बहुत बड़ी तादाद जो है लो इनकम टियर में चला जाएगा, और लो इनकम टियर का इनका जो डेफिनेशन है वो 150 से 700 रुपया पर डे है. एंड श्रैंक फ्रॉम 119.7 करोड़ टू 116.2 करोड़, अबाउट 3.5 करोड़ ड्रॉपिंग बिलो द पॉवर्टी लाइन. तो ये कह रहे हैं कि जो लो इनकम टियर के लोग हैं उसमें से भी 3.5 करोड़ लोग लो इनकम से बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन में चले गए. ठीक है? द मिडिल इनकम ग्रुप इज लाइकली टू हैव डिक्रीज्ड. लो इनकम वाले बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन में गए और मिडिल इनकम वाले भी और नीचे गए. ठीक है ना? लो इनकम, मिडिल इनकम, देन अपर इनकम, समथिंग इस तरह का उन्होंने ये बनाया है स्ट्रैटिफिकेशन. सो द मिडिल इनकम पीपल इज लाइकली टू हैव डिक्रीज फ्रॉम 10 करोड़ टू 6.6 करोड़. यानी जो मिडिल इनकम के लोग थे वो 10 करोड़ से 6.6 करोड़ लोग आ गए. और इन्होंने डिफाइन कैसे किया मिडिल इनकम को? जो 1500 और उससे ज्यादा एक दिन में कमाए. राइट? दिस इज व्हाट टुडे इज ऑल अबाउट. नाउ let's start with the question answer session, and the question number 1 says, what is the full form of GDP? Your options are gross domestic product, your options are goods and domestic product, gain in domestic product, none of the above. So yes, please answer this question कि GDP का full form क्या है. Okay, anybody? सर आज तो 3 घंटे नॉन स्टॉप हो गया. ओके, कोई बात नहीं. रिलायंस एंड अदानी का में नहीं कमी आई. ओके, हाँ, यस, मतलब वी आर टॉकिंग इन जनरल इन द एंटायर कंट्री. यस, पीपल आर राइटिंग बी. यस, वेरी गुड, राइट. साहिल, सेजल, वानी, उत्तम, शिवेंद्र, मेघा, एवरीबॉडी इज राइट. ग्रॉस डोमेस्टिक प्रोडक्ट इज द right answer. Please go and read more about gross domestic product. We generally teach these things in Gradeup super batches in detail about GDP, GNP, repo rate. We generally so you go and read more about it. Okay. Now the second question is, yes, very good, Yashraj, Anjali, सबको सही हो. जिन्होंने B का, अनिरुद्धा, साई, गौतम, very good. The second question is, what is the correct definition of GDP? It says total value of all the goods produced in the world, total value of all the goods produced in a country, total value of all the goods and services produced in a country, yeah, D, total value of all the final goods and services produced in a country in a given period of time. Please answer this question. Yes, some people are saying C, some are saying D. So Siddharth, Samarth is saying D, Siddharth is saying C. Dinesh, Nidhi, Sejal, Nidhi, Sahil, Ashi, Aparna, Ramnarayan, Meena, Uttam Yadav, Sai Gautam, very good. D is the right answer, very good. This is the most comprehensive definition of GDP. Total value of all final goods. Please remember, we only talk about final goods and services. Both goods and services are part of GDP in a country in a given period of time. When we say given period of time, we say fiscal year. Generally, यानी एक साल में, and fiscal year is divided into 3 quarters. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. I have explained these things. ठीक है? Yes, people are saying pakka promise, Ashi. Yes, this is the right answer. Pakka promise. Now let's talk about the question number 3, and please answer the question number 3, which says, what is a reverse repo rate? Your options are the interest rate at which banks give loans to another bank. The second option is the interest rate at which banks give loan to RBI. It is give. N गलती से लिखा गया. The third is the interest rate at which RBI give loans to banks. The last one is the interest rate at which RBI give loans to Government of India. Please, this is very important. Yes, Samarth, Dheeraj, Siddharth, Sridhi, very good. Vijay Kumari, Uttam, Sejal, Vijay Kumari saying B Pakka, very confident. Yes. So this is interest rate at which banks give loans to RBI is called as reverse repo rate. Okay? And this is called as repo rate. Interest at which RBI gives to bank is called as repo rate. I have discussed these things, and this is important. These things are being asked in exam. So please be cautious. Yes. The question number 4 says, name the year before 2020 when the world was struck by recession. यानी 2020 से पहले वर्ल्ड जो है उसमें रिसेशन आया था, वो कब आया था? In the last 20 years, you have to tell. Your options are 2006, 2008, 2001, 2004. यानी इससे पहले रिसेशन आ चुका है, आपको बताना है वो रिसेशन कब आया था. 2006, 2008, 2001, 2004. Yes, Dinesh Singh Kushwaha is very confident. He has written 4 B. कई बार भी लिखा है. साहिल शुक्ला, सिद्धार्थ, सार्थक, साहिल, very good. You all are very right. At 2008 is the right answer. अगर आप 2007 भी कहो तो भी चलेगा. Yes. This was very important actually in the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008. Okay, and this was prior to the COVID-19 recession. It was considered by the most serious financial crisis. Okay. So this was all about today's class. But yes, wait, 1 minute. There is one more question I am writing here, and after the class is over, please write in the comment section of this video after searching on the internet. And there was something called as Great Depression that came in 20th century. So you have to tell me the year in which the Great Depression happened. आपको comment section में, YouTube के comment section में जब video over हो जाएगा, so नीचे लिखना है. If somebody have correctly answered this, तो हम next video में हम बोलेंगे उनके बारे में. ठीक है? So yes, if you have any doubt on WhatsApp, what happened in 2007-8, I'll take one video to explain this. This is a very long thing. ठीक है ना Dinesh? Okay, so if you have any query, you can call a WhatsApp on this number. These are the 2 numbers on which you can call and ask anything. Okay, so please answer this question after the video is put on the YouTube, ताकि हम next class में आपको दिखाएं. Okay, so I hope that you would have liked the video, and thanks for watching.